Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about wood flattening jigs. Wood flattening jig is a device that you can build or buy that helps you to flatten a piece of wood with your router. There's tons of videos on YouTube showing you how to build your DIY flattening jig with wood. Those self-made jigs have some disadvantages. First of all, they're made of wood, and wood bends. So you need to be really careful with what material you use to build your jig to prevent it from bending. But if you flatten a lot of slabs, you will notice that a lot of those jigs, they're kind of cumbersome. They're cumbersome to adjust the height, depending on how thick the piece is that you're working on. They're also cumbersome to adapt when it comes to how wide the piece is. So I have stayed away from the self-made jigs and bought one. A couple years back from Stone Coat Countertops, they created one out of aluminum, out of metal, and it looked really nice. And at that time, I still think they don't send it overseas. So I had to do like a crazy thing with ordering it to a friend in the US, and that friend shipped it to me. And the shipping was about $500. So the jig was $500 and the shipping to it was bananas. And I've been using that jig for a long period of time, and I liked it because it's really sturdy, it's well made, and I have used it to flatten like large and small slabs. Like in many of the videos, you see this jig in action. And the good thing is it's like really sturdy, and it has wheels where you can move it along, and so it's much easier to move around compared to those self-made jigs that very often don't use like wheels to allow it to move forward. When you think about flattening jigs, there's a couple of things that are important. Like one is it needs to be sturdy and not bent. That's like the basic. The other thing is it should move around, slide around easily, which makes like the work process much easier. But then there's another aspect that is often overlooked, which is how do you regulate the height of the flattening jig? If you have a very thin piece of wood, you want the router to be really low. But if you have like a big, thick slab, then it needs to be higher. And with a Stone Coat Countertop jig, that's not well solved. It has a fixed height. So if you want to go higher, you need to actually like create pieces of wood to increase the height. So you need to have different sets of wood bars that you use to higher or lower your jig. And that is not convenient because you need to remove them, you need to add the new ones, and it's just cumbersome, it takes time. So one day, out of the blue, I get an ad for a new jig from Spade Tools, which is a flattening jig they have developed that has an adjustable height. And when I saw that, I fell immediately in love. I was like, oh, I need to try this because that would make my work process so much quicker. So I ordered one of those. They ship worldwide. It's pretty cool. I will spare you the assembly. It's rather easy, like you see it here. It wasn't a big deal. There are instructions. They're not super well made, but it's also not really complicated to figure it out. And then I tried it out. And like the beautiful thing about this jig is, you see it here, that with 2 screws on each side, you can just adjust the height. And that means if you go lower, because you removed already a lot of material and you need to go lower, you can just do that. And that is super interesting. So I used this for about 10 slabs now, and I have to say it's amazing. No product comes without disadvantages. And obviously, this jig has also some limitations. One is that the maximum processing width is 47 inches, or a little bit more than a meter. So if you're planning to route like super wide slabs, it's not going to work. The minimum height that it can process is 3/4 inches. About 1.5 centimeters. And then there is a maximum of 6 inches. So about 15 centimeters. So you have really a lot of wiggle room, but there's obviously limitations there too. Other than that, you can obviously you can build a table that is super long, so length is not a problem for all of these jigs. So the processing width from the Stone Coat countertop jig is longer. So it's a longer jig compared to the one from Spade Tools. So that's something to have in mind if you're choosing. That's it. Short video about this jig that I'm very excited about. If you have to flatten a lot of wood, then look into this product. I'll leave the link in the description. I hope you liked this little video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and see you around.